Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kate is overjoyed to learn that Sarah requested a divorce at the mansion. Rex is enraged and tells his mother that he doesn't want to do that or turn his back on his daughter. Kate clarifies, "You mean Xander's daughter?" "No," he replies, "I mean my daughter." She is aware that Xander won't back down and allow him to raise his child. Additionally, Sarah still feels awful about Xander, and the gardener deserves someone who isn't attractive. She begs him to release her. Susan showing up in the square astounds Sarah. With bear claws for his mother, EJ joins them. He assists Sarah in sitting as she struggles with her resentment of Xander for Susan's passing. Susan inquires, "Now you're not angry anymore, right?" Of course she's still angry, claims EJ. Susan still lost a year of her life as a result of Xander's kidnapping. Sarah responds that Xander is not a killer when Susan inquires as to her opinion. "Not this time," EJ snaps. In a stupor, Sarah walks out. Xander visits Sloane to meet with his attorney. Eric, who is upset, queries what the Scot did this time. Xander claims to be the one who was hurt. Eric claims Sloane ought to have informed him. Sloane is sorry and knows. Sloane questions Xander about his belief that she can win him custody of his daughter after Eric departs for coffee. Xander argues that since Susan is still alive, he is not a murderer. Sloane reminds him that he still has custody of her. In addition, removing a newborn from her mother will be difficult. As pointed out by Xander, Sarah kept his child a secret, similar to how she treated Eric. Who would forbid parents from seeing their own children? Who is that? Xander answers himself without irony, a monster. Sloane, who has a guilty-looking expression, wants to know more information, like who the father of the child was according to Sarah. "Well, that's not important," Xander responds. "The only thing that matters is that Sarah has a history of deceiving men to keep them away from their own kids." Sloane is unsure if this renders her an unfit mother, but it does give them a chance to argue their case in court. He needs her to attack from every angle. Sloane says he despises Sarah's guts so much. "Yes," he sneers. "The answer is yes, I do." Harris phones Ava, who is staying at Tripp's apartment, from the pub. After catching up on their individual living situations, Harris explains that he must find employment in order to cover his rent. She refers to him as a hero when he laments the lack of job opportunities for a retired SEAL whose most recent employment was as a hitman or mercenary. Overhearing, Tripp approaches with worry. After saying goodbye, Ava offers to prepare Wendy and her son breakfast. He claims Wendy is in a job interview and is confident she will be hired because she is very intelligent and competent. "How bad is the situation?" asks Ava. Tripp acknowledges his affection for her before inquiring about Ava's emotions towards Harris. She argues that they are only pals. Before Rex begs Kate to go, she settles in when Sarah goes back to the mansion. After Susan leaves, Sarah informs Rex that she saw a living Susan. He inquires as to her response. Sarah argues that while it offers Xander legal ground to stand on, she remains adamant about getting a divorce. Kate is correct. They should all move on at this point. She is instructed to mail the divorce papers to his Chicago address. He just wishes she wouldn't fall for Xander's tricks once more. They say goodbye while crying. Susan and EJ discuss his desire for retribution against Xander and Susan in the square. She demands that he pledge on the altar of her life that he won't harm even one of their hairs. He says, "I wouldn't dream of it," with a lot of emphasis, because she won't be there to watch him. She hopes he is telling the truth. She is returning to Memphis. Harris is at the bar when Eric enters the pub. As Kate joins them, they become acquainted. As the group talks about Vivian leaving town and Dimitri's detention, Kate criticizes Rafe, the police commissioner. She then advises Harris submit an application for a position at the police station. Eric offers to assist Harris if he needs anything before he departs. Harris acknowledges that and turns to face Kate, who offers to speak with Jada, the lone competent officer on the force, on his behalf. He'll consider it. The attorney warns Xander at Sloane's residence that his custody lawsuit will face difficult odds. If he would be open to co-parenting, she asks. Since Sarah did what she did, Xander declines. He believes that a woman like her is unworthy of another opportunity. Sloane is left to gape in embarrassment as he goes. To see his daughter, Xander storms inside the Kyriakis mansion. Before he returns to Chicago, Sarah wants him to give Rex a chance to say goodbye. He learns about the divorce and the encounter with Susan. She didn't believe he was a bad guy, rather she was afraid to accept him back into her life. He is now, however. Tripp invites Harris in and then exits. Tripp expresses gratitude to him for saving their life, but cautions Ava not to cope with anyone else's troubles. Her son is ejected by Ava. She apologizes to Tripp, but her son is aware of her propensity for obsession with men. Harris has a history of fixation due to his relationship with Hope. Ava says they both understand what it's like to go to extremes to get what they want, and they look at each other. Harris takes her hand and goes in for a kiss. Rex rushes through with his bag as Marlena and Kate catch up at the pub. Rex leaving Salem saddens Kate, especially after Philip just left. He informs his mother that although he and Sarah are getting a divorce, which is precisely what she wanted, he still loves her. Eric delivers a scone to Sloane as an apology for earlier, simply pushing his button, Xander. Sloane admits that she is aware of Sarah's deception in keeping him away from his child. Eric may appreciate Sarah's motivations, but a lie was to blame for the hurt that resulted from what happened. It's difficult to forget the suffering she brought upon everyone, not just him. As they hug, Sloane's sympathetic smile turns distressed. E.G. becomes agitated in the square and wonders aloud why someone would bring Susan to Crumb and subject her to such suffering. A tablet is being held by a man who is not known and is wearing a blue denim shirt. He reads a story about Susan being brought home alive by Ava. Ava and Harris resume their lives on Friday, October 13, 2023, according to Days of Our Lives spoilers. But will they do so together? Ava Vitali and Harris Michaels were delighted when Marlena Evans informed them that they wouldn't be returning to Bayview. Harris rented a place above the Brady pub, and Ava moved in with Tripp Johnson so they could start over. Harris now desires to establish roots in his former hometown. On Friday, the two are again in close proximity, and this time they kiss. Ava always has bad luck with men, but has she finally met the right one? Harris has also experienced heartbreak, particularly when he believed he would be with Hope Williams Brady and discovered that Bo Brady was still alive. Their fortunes seem to be shifting. E.J. Demerad discovers what actually transpired to Susan Banks, which Ava was unquestionably accountable for. Will this put an end to his resolve to maintain peace, as Susan wishes? Sarah Horton has been insistent that Victoria Margaret, her new child, will not be raised by Xander Cook. But now that Xander is aware that he is the girl's father, he wants to fight for his right to child custody. He appears to be acting more out of rage than anything else, unable to comprehend that Sarah would have withheld this information from him. Despite this, Sarah finds herself warming up to her ex and considering whether she should give in and let him at least hold and see his daughter. Will he end the custody dispute as a result? He won't find it any easier this time because she has never been able to let go of her affections for him. Nevertheless, Xander is persistent and meets with Sloane Peterson to pursue his parental rights. Will she be able to fulfill all of his desires for him in the end? Thanks for watching if you like this video. So please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.